Good evening, and welcome to Nihon Nights, a modern-day Vampire the Masquerade chronicle set in the prefecture of Chiba in Japan. Awakening for the night are our various kindreds, who tonight do not have to rouse check, as that is being done in-game. We begin with Solomon. He feels the wooden crate drop to the ground. For the first time in months, the ground seems solid, no longer overwhelmed with the sensation of a boat swaying in the ocean. Creaking wood stretched over its limit fills the tight enclosed cramped space until he hears the wood breaking, and the smell of fresh air leaks into his nose, and he can hear someone talking. The fuck is this? Someone been shipping dead fucking bodies? The fuck? Has a piece of fucking wood in its chest. Looks like part of the crate was caved in. Let me get that out. Jesus Christ, look at those teeth. Solomon can feel a warm sensation on his teeth as the stranger runs his finger over Solomon's gaping maw, and then the familiar coppery taste of blood as the finger is quickly snatched away. Solomon's eyes flash open, his fangs extend longer, and the smell of fresh vitae consumes all his senses. Solomon, set your hunger to 5. Now please do a hunger frenzy test, difficulty 3.
New character, who this? What did you say the difficulty was? I'm sorry.
3.
3.
Excellent. You have control over your character.
I don't want to just immediately get up and freak this guy out.
I'll remind you, it is a masquerade breach right now.
That's true. I'm not the quickest or the strongest kindred, though. So I don't know if I'd be able to even take this guy. Is it just the one person?
Yes.
Do I hear any noise of anybody else that might be nearby?
Not inside the warehouse you're in, no.
The one time I like my strength and brawl and all that is my dump stat, and you make me do this.
You literally asked for this.
I did? When did I do this? Oh, that's right. I asked for it like 2 weeks ago, so I forgot. A gun would be too loud, wouldn't it?
So it raises the question of where did the gun come from?
Prison pocket.
Yeah, you don't know what powers I have yet. I'm going to, even though my eyes are open, I'm going to wait until maybe he turns around quickly, so just so I can get more of a jump on him than just, I don't know if maybe he'll look around for somebody else that might come and explain what in the world he just took a wooden
He's
stake
just
out of
witnessed
the
this,
body
what he thought was a corpse with very messed up teeth slowly reanimate itself, and he is considering his fight or flight at the moment.
I see, okay. I always forget torpor is literally like a corpse. And not just an inanimate kindred. Yeah, if he's sitting there contemplating life choices, then yeah, I'll jump on him.
Strength, bro. Would you like success at cost?
Sure.
Excellent. Solomon, for a brief moment, is consumed by the beast and leaps forward, attempting to restrain the worker and feed upon his blood. He bites fiercely into the man's flesh, tearing a large chunk of flesh off and exposing broken blood veins, and drinks deeply from the wound on the man's shoulder, draining every drop from the man's body and throwing the dried-out remains to the concrete floor as the beast begins to settle. Solomon, finally able to control himself, takes in his surroundings. A large metal building, clearly a warehouse. The sounds of water are audible, allowing Solomon to work out he must have arrived at some dockworks. Hopefully he has made it to his destination, but nothing gives away his location. Among the many small boxes and crates stacked up in the warehouse, Solomon can see 3 larger wooden boxes just like his own, and instinctively approaches one, knowing their contents already, as he picks up the preserved bag of blood in his own crate and the crowbar that was used to break open his own crate, and opens one of the crates that journeyed with him, revealing the inanimated corpse-looking body inside, and preserved vitae next to it.
Well, I would have preferred something more luxurious, but this will do. And I will go to the first crate and begin prying it open with the crowbar. Yeah, with the crowbar.
You open it up, and you see another desiccated corpse with a small preserved bag of blood next to it. Bless you.
Excuse me.
It's dusty in this warehouse.
It is foreign air. I'm going to put the bag of blood that's in their crate in whoever's hand it is, and then I will begin removing the stake.
Would you like to feed them the blood?
Well, that's why I was putting the bag in their hand, and then...
Back in the mouth, or just feed them straight away?
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. I know, I just didn't want to be inadequate.
Daisy's eyes flash open as her body slowly heals itself, returning to her normal state, and she slowly sits up inside of the crate. Daisy, set your hunger to 3, please.
Oh, apologies. Did you say how much hunger mine went down when I...
You drained the guy, didn't you? So, oh yeah, you drained the guy, so you're taking a humanity stain, but you're able to slake your hunger to 0.
Even at 5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's been a while.
Speaking of, I have to ask, what type of blood did I just drink?
It was something that was completely suitable and selected for you.
Okay, good. So it was like from a cow or something.
Yeah. Is there anything the 2 of you would like to talk about before you open the next crate?
I'll take my glasses off. Whoa, man. Where are we?
It seems to be some kind of warehouse now. Get your bags about you and I will begin to unpack our friends.
Oh, yeah, man. I can totally help with that. I'll grab the crowbar from him and open the next one.
Daisy slides the crowbar into the next crate along, cracks it open, exposing the torpid corpse of Elias and his own preserved supply of vitae next to his head.
Can I sniff the vitae before giving it to him?
You wouldn't be able to sense its smoke because it's a completely airtight thing to preserve it.
Okay. Well, then I'll feed him the blood.
And I'll
Solomon's
walk over to
eyes
the third crane.
quickly split open as he takes in his surroundings, sits up slowly. He greets Daisy. Elias, set your hunger to 3, please.
Okay. Thank you for waking me up. That's so kind of you. I have to get in contact with the rest of the group. I suppose we've arrived.
Must be. Not on a boat anymore. Sorry to harsh your mellow, man. And I hold out a hand to help him up.
I will take her hand and stand up. Oh, good. Everyone will be happy that our stay here has begun. I'm sure many people will be vacationing, but we have tasks at hand that we need to focus on.
Yeah, man, I gotta find where the cool people are.
While they make pleasantries, I will go to the third crate.
The crowbar is slipped into the crack of the lid, the large wooden crate splitting it open, and the final body is revealed, showing the seemingly dead body of Marcelina and the preserved bottle of Vitae inside of her crate. Solomon opens the bottle and lets it slowly trickle down Marcelina's throat, as her body slowly begins to heal itself, and her eyes flash open as she leans up.
Well, seems we've made it safely. How are you, darling? You doing all right?
I had a bit of a messy awakening, but it is quite okay now. The other two preparing each other for our next move.
I see. You said a mess? And she will look to see what is the mess. Step out of her crate and take a look.
You'll easily be able to catch sight of the dead worker's man body that is slumped over and discarded on the floor, but you do notice there is no blood leaking out from the body. And set your hunger to 3, please.
All right. Let's do that first.
I was going to clean up after myself, but I did not want to leave you 3 indisposed of if someone were to have shown up.
No, that was very wise. I can help you if you'd like to clean up this little mess. We wouldn't want any breaches, especially upon our first day. Would that be all right?
By all means.
Wonderful. And Marcelina will kind of get down on her one knee, and she will use ashes to ashes.
Do a rouse check for me, please.
Yes. I
Wonderful.
think I did it right.
And that's going to be
Cool.
a success.
All right.
And you'll see the body begin to slowly disintegrate, rotting away far quicker than is natural, until nothing remains but a dark shadow on the floor where it once was.
Well, that's all handled, and she'll kind of, wipe her hands off and stand back up and look to the group. Well, how are you two doing? You feeling all right?
I could really find some of the cool people right now.
What that possibly could mean. You are with the cool people. We are the cool people, darling.
Not that type of cool.
I see. It's a specific kind. Okay, well, hopefully we'll find them quickly. And you, Elias, how you doing? You feeling all right?
Elias would grimace a bit at the sight of the body Solomon left before Marcelina cleaned it up. I've been better. Solomon, really should be more careful. What of that man's friends and family? That dock worker could have had children for all you know. You really need to treat people with more respect.
Well,
Totally agree.
if he had not opened my crate in the first place, he would still be alive. So,
It
So
really
bec-
costs nothing to mind one's own business, you know.
Well, he's helped you, and you repaid him with death. That's not very kind of.
As Elias is
It-
talking, I'll just kind of put one arm over his shoulder, just be nodding along.
I do not know how else I would have taken care of the situation, Elias, but as you can see, our friend here has taken quite care of it, and I'll wipe some of the ash off the ground and rub it between my fingers. It is quite fascinating that you can dispose of something so quickly.
Yes, all fun little abilities that I got to help me do what I do. Speaking of what we need to do, where do we go first?
Well, it is proper etiquette to greet the prince on arrival to a city, is it not?
Yes, it is, and we are all about manners, aren't we? Mr. Mayumi, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Definitely should go give him a hello. Find out if there's anything that he needs from us. Is that all right with you two?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's cool. Not like cool, but I'm sure he's cool.
At some point, you are gonna have to clarify for me what exactly that means.
I am speaking English, right?
Yes, but you're not very specific. Cool it's a very broad statement. You know, if maybe
Not
we can.
everyone knows what cool is.
I wish I did. I really don't. You know, we will figure it out. You and me, we're gonna figure it out. Let's go handle our business, shall we?
Yes. I think it would be wise to speak with the prince.
Right.
Solomon, having spent the most amount of time out of torpor in the new building, leads the group to the one exit door, opening it and letting the others step through it. Finally able to see where they are. As Solomon suspected, they are on the docks, with huge floodlights proving more than enough light to show the whole area of warehouses, and even some freighters docked up. In the distance, the bright lights of an extremely large developed city. As they cast their eyes around, it seems obvious, based on the various signs they can see, they have made it to their destination, Japan. And there, standing under a large roadway directional sign, is a man leant against a small car that raises his arm and beckons them over.
I will proceed over. Oh, and Shiva, I also want to use Satisfy the Hunger to reduce my hunger by.
I believe that is an advantage, so no roll required.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Before I head over and follow the group, I'll actually stay back just a little bit to kind of get a look-see around, specifically, I guess, into the darkness just past this man, because I want to make sure that we're safe. I don't know the roles required for that.
Oblivion Sight.
Okay.
That's an automatic
Right,
success,
so
and
then.
you'll see in the city in the distance there is some strange, eerie glow that you can only see thanks to feeding the vitae into your eyes, but it is far too large and far too distant for you to be able to ascertain exactly what it is.
Just for my own clarification, is it almost like a haze over the city? Because I know you said eerie glow. Is it like emanating out of the city or hovering like above it?
It's emanating directly from the city.
Okay, cool. Um, oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna keep Oblivion sight up, so her eyes will just look all black as she kind of proceeds behind the group to follow them.
And who would like to greet the driver?
I will, unless you want to, Miss Hutz.
You could do it this time.
Okay. Hello, good sir. My friends and I, we have business tonight. Can you
Yeah,
show
I know,
for
that's
us?
why I'm here.
Wonderful.
You think I just hang around the docks for fun?
I don't like to make assumptions regarding what people like to do in their free time.
Get in the fucking car.
That's so kind of you, thank you.
Forgive him. I believe he is quite squeamish.
I will open the door for my fellow coterie members.
Before, unless you guys want to do something or say something. Yes, no? So before I go into the car, I want to stop at the driver. What's he wearing?
He seems to be fairly casually dressed. I mean, pair of jeans, t-shirt. He's not really dressed for the cold of the night that there is.
Does he look kind or kindred?
Oh. I think given just his onset of the line that he says, you know, that's why I'm here, you'd be able to ascertain that he's kindred.
Okay. So I'll stop and I'll kind of give him a once-over. And my face will look pretty menacing. And I'll say, really, manners, darling. We're visitors here, guests. Should treat us kindly. Wouldn't want anything to happen to you on our way. And with that, I'll get in the car.
Now, this like a limousine that's got a screen between the front and the back, is it?
No, this is... so glad that someone asked this question. It's a very small hatchback car. 3 seats in the back.
I was going to ask what
One
type
in
of
the
car
front.
it was, and I figured you wouldn't know.
And it is, of course, a
Amazing.
Japanese brand, Jisan.
I will slide into the car and start rubbing his shoulders. Man, you seem really tense. You just need to chill out. It's okay. I'm giving him a shoulder rub.
As she's doing that, I'm actually going to the passenger seat that's in the front seat, so I'm right next to him.
You'll just see him there, like, being given a shoulder massage. I've been sent by the local Camarilla. It is tradition that new arrivals of our kind meet with the daimyo. That is the Huaijin equivalent of an elder. Or prince, I suppose. I can brief
Oh, that's
you.
perfect. That's just where we were going.
Happy to meet him.
So fortuitous that you would arrive to take us exactly where we needed to be.
Doing a great job already, darling.
If you have any questions on the way, I'll be happy to answer them. I also have some information for you. Coterie.
And how... Go ahead. And
Coterie,
what
having
do you
entered the car. Don't say go ahead and then talk all over me. Jesus, what kind of kindred are you? No manners.
I just spoke to this man about manners.
The coterie, having cautiously entered the car with the newly met kindred, begins its journey through the night. As the car drives, the man starts a conversation with them, beginning to brief them of the local area. As I've said, you are being taken to meet the daimyo. He is in charge of Tokyo. Usually, as I'm sure you're aware, kindred are introduced to the prince, But Japan is a little different. Although officially the traditions are in place here, in practice it is far harder for them to be enforced. As such, it is far easier to get away with certain things. But that doesn't mean you should treat Japan as a free land. If you get caught either by the Camarilla or the Kwai Jin, you will still meet the fire. Speaking of Kwai Jin, by the way, don't call them Kwai Jin. They prefer to be called Gaki. They have a proud heritage and like to think of themselves as unique among their ilk.
From what I've heard, they are just that, though, are they not? Unique?
They're a mystery, man.
That is fair.
We're all kindred, but we've got different clans. They're all Kwai Jin, and they've got something.
Fascinating. You said get away with some things. Would you mind giving me a little a hint on what those things may be?
Let's put it this way. Tradition 0 is far more important. If you do something, don't get caught.
Understood.
Camarilla here is fairly weak. Reports to the tower make it seem like all is in order, but make no mistake, the Gaki control this land, and what they say goes. Are you familiar with the prince?
Only in name.
Mayumi Shibasaki? There's debate about how to pronounce it.
We'll figure it out when we get there.
But she is a Zemitsi. Rumor is she took praxis from the former prince of the Sombra by drawing on his need to see his own reflection and trapped him in a mirror. We have
Jesus.
what you call a sheriff. He's a layabout for the most part. But if you go around breaking the Masquerade, you'll rouse more than his attention. There was a similar thing that happened a couple of months back. Some loudmouth bourgeois, only in the country a month, decided Japan was going to be Anarch territory. Killed a lot of the Aksar, most of which belonged to the Gaki. Slaughtered. Their families too. Business fronts destroyed. The sheriff actually worked with the Gaki to track the bourgeois down, and was not given the mercy of a Camarilla trial and punishment. It is likely he is still unlive, held somewhere in just enough pieces to keep him clinging to his existence. Any questions so far?
Doesn't sound much different than from where we're from, so it feels like home already.
Such
You're in for a
senseless loss of life.
Sometimes loss of life is necessary.
Now the daimyo, Tanaka Michio. He is like a samurai. Only speaks when he needs to. He is used to people listening when he speaks. Be wary. You should also consider focusing your blood so you can drink and eat. If you refuse an offer of food or drink, it could be considered rude or offensive.
Oh man,
Gaki.
I do that all the time. No big deal. And I'll cast Blush of Life.
Rouse check for me, please. Anyone else care to do Blush of Life?
I will.
Gain a hunger, Elias. No one else going for Flesh of Life?
I probably should. And that's just a rouse check, right?
Just a rouse check, and it lasts the entire night.
Okay.
Wonderful. The Gaki like to think they have a code of honor. Kwai Jin refer to them as the great principle. Much like our traditions, I suppose. The way of origin, remember whence you came, for it is the unchanging whole of your purpose. The way of lineage, heed well those who have come before, and respect those who come after, for they are all part of the truth. The way of integrity, maintain your honor and trust in all thought, word, and deed, for the behavior of one affects the entire community. The way of obligation, understand your duties to your brethren, to the forces of the universe, and to yourself, and do all to fulfill them. The way of propriety, practice correctness in all you do, for the great cycle in its ever aspect has its own nature, and that nature must be followed. Of course, they don't like to apply these to the kindred, who are seen as invaders at best, and a sign of the Sixth Age at worst.
And a twinkle. Twinkle.
Anything you'd like to ask before I proceed? There's still a little bit of time left on our journey. It is so rare
Man.
to enjoy English.
When you drink the blood of someone who's just taken LSD, how much time do you have to wait before it kicks in?
You're going to have a hard time in this land, I can tell.
Nah, I'll be fine.
Which brings me to another point. Be wary of the police force. As you are, by definition, Gaijin, you are immediately suspicious. They have no issue and are legally allowed to keep you detained for 1 month without a phone call or help, or even a translator if you need one.
The man's always trying to get you down.
This man, both hands on the wheel, is far more intense here. Of course, do anything you can should you find yourself in trouble, but remember, don't get caught. The Gaki are currently split in their philosophy. Some say the Sixth Age is upon them. Others don't believe it, and yet more say it is still the Fifth Age. And then there are those rare Agaki that don't believe, or perhaps don't care in any of the ages. It is an interesting time, to say the least.
Can you explain that a little bit more for me, darling?
Of course. The ages are the cycle of life. The Sixth Age is similar to Gehenna, an end of the cycle, as they see it, so that a new one may be reborn from its ashes. The Sixth Age, according to legend, is a time of strife and despair. Kindred are seen as a portent of this Sixth Age, being invaders from the west. It is best not to dwell on such a thing, though. It is important to remember that almost every Gaki will view Kindred as invaders.
Right, well, seems like we've got our work cut out for us.
Yes, in other cities I've had the privy of visiting, the police force has or I should say, the Camarilla has a bit of a influence over the police force. Is that not the case here?
Depends on who you listen to. It is hard to gain concrete information. The Camarillo will say they have absolute control. The Gaki will say they have absolute control.
That is very fair. I have not yet encountered a force that seems to be so influential as the Gaki.
And the Gaki see themselves as the ultimate being, given a second chance, be it for redemption or vengeance. Their will was strong enough to conquer death. So they say, anyway. No one outside of the Gaki has witnessed a resurrection. Below them, they see the Japanese themselves. Men first, women second, and then everybody else. Oh! And the country does suffer from a lupine problem, too. Here they are called Hengi Yokai. They are basically the same as lupine, but with their own culture and practices. Be wary. Never trust any animal.
Yes, we will certainly need to be wary. We don't want to bring about any needless bloodshed.
When he says needless bloodshed, Marcelina will take out her gun and check it, pull back just like, okay, make sure it's loaded, and then put it away.
There are legends of Yurei, Onis, yokai, and other supernatural creatures in the land, all something to be wary of, all on a different plane of existence, and similar, but very different to what you may have experienced before. And to warn you, you will not have me driving you back. Part of tradition is the Camarilla presents new arrivals to the daimyo, and then the Gaki transports you back. You will still need to meet with the prince, but unlike other places I'm sure you've been to, it happens when the prince is ready to receive you. She is already aware of your arrival in the country, thus my presence. Kindred are rarely allowed in Tokyo. They need Tanaka-san's permission to enter the city usually. And the city of Tokyo is always busy at all times of the night.
And can you give me one more time the daimyo's name? I just, I want to get it right.
Tanaka-san.
Tanaka-san. Okay.
And as you are all
Right.
strangers in a strange land, making your way to meet the daimyo, having just awoken, Elias, what are you thinking and feeling right now?
Elias he's partially excited that he gets to begin his pilgrimage in addition to the other duties he's going to have to take care of. He's unhappy and a bit saddened that dock worker had to die. He knows had he
It was only 2
awoken
days away
first,
from retirement.
he could have been. Elias knows that had he been awakened, maybe things could have gone another way. Maybe he could have talked Solomon out of killing the man.
Daisy! What are your thoughts and feelings at this moment?
These people are totally square, man. I gotta find where the hip crowd is.
Well, there's a quarter square in chat.
Means he's only kinda square.
Solomon.
She's mostly just bored. And, gotta do the things you gotta do. Go along with the flow. Everything will be okay. Not quite sure about these ones that are all fond of killing and stuff, but she'll win them over with love.
How does the Gaki regime, lack of a better word sound to, Daisy?
It sounds a lot like military regimes and other things that she's encountered over the years that she's just been able to ignore. And go with the flow, everything will work out okay.
Does she have a sense of anxiety for basically being forced to see them?
Not yet.
Solomon had a very dramatic rise from torpor. You've wet your fangs, you've slaked your thirst completely, and you've managed to get away with it. And now you're on your way to meet the most powerful creature in all of Japan. How do you feel?
Well, going to where we are headed with the most clear mind a kindred can have at 0 hunger is nice. The thing that intrigues him the most, though, is from all of the rumors and speculation for why we were sent over here, and the fact that the Gaki might be involved. He did not expect them to be... He did not expect to interact with them on our first night, let alone, from what the Strivers told us, be driven to where we are to stay, or wherever, by the Gaki themselves. It sounded like they were going to... It sounded more like there was more of a territorial war between the Gaki and the Camarilla, similar to the Anarchs and Camarilla in Oxford and in London, rather than them being so buddy-buddy with each other. So he's intrigued by that aspect, but more so now that he knows that they're so close, he's even more interested in the task that they were sent here to do.
The car comes to a slow halt on the dark alien street outside a neon-lit bar.
Are you gonna ask Marcelina?
That's right, I am. I'm sorry. I was saving the best for last. Marcelina!
I think that the Gaki and the whole situation here...
Oh, wow, thank you.
You're welcome. The whole situation here sounds very, something that she's probably accustomed to, kind of the regime aspect to it, the kind of territory aspect to it. So she doesn't necessarily feel uncomfortable in that regard. She does think that their tasks might be just a little bit harder, considering the passiveness of some of her coterie members. Though she's accustomed to them in that aspect, she's like, ooh, maybe this wasn't the mission for them. She is trying to ignore the way Elias smells, considering where her hunger's at. Because he does smell quite delicious, and given her own proclivity, she's like, I have to stay focused on the mission. Can't get distracted by food. So that's where she's at. She's like, okay, I'm accustomed to these kind of dynamics, so I think I'll be okay. A little worried about these coterie members that may be afraid to get their hands dirty. And shit, I'm kind of hungry. I'm going to have to deal with this as soon as possible.
Thank you for that reminder, Solomon. And I'm sorry. The car comes to a slow halt on the dark alien street outside a neon-lit bar. Unlike home, the streetlights here burn white. The streets aren't quite as various. Aren't quiet. I can't even read my own fucking writing. As various waves of people walk on the streets, keeping to themselves. Their driver opens the door for the coterie, gesturing to them to go inside. The coterie enter the packed bar filled with patrons sat at tables drinking beer and loudly talking together. The coterie are met almost immediately by a host, who looks them in the eye, gives a small nod, and gestures. I don't know, Kendo, I'm still waiting. And gestures for them to follow him through to a back room. A far more lavish and larger area than the main bar. Exotic paintings line the walls and extremely well-dressed men in suits quietly talk to each other, some sipping drinks, others smoking, and at the head of the room, on a slightly raised wooden stage area, sit two women, dressed in kimonos, playing shamisen. In the centre of the unique spectacle is a barely shin-high table, knelt at which is an older man, a strange-looking teapot, and several small cups without handles that are laid out before him. The host gestures for the coterie to sit at the table, and bows until all the coterie have passed him, and they sit themselves down uncomfortably at the short table. The older man does not even acknowledge their presence, as a woman in a kimono walks to his side and stands over his right shoulder.
お茶はいかがですか?
And those of you that speak Japanese will know that you are being offered tea.
I would graciously thank her and accept the tea.
Back in Japanese, I would bow and say yes, please.
I would mimic the same, but the whole time my eyes are on the main man in the room here.
I would mimic the bows that the others were making, but I wouldn't innately say anything.
はい。
A lady in a tightly wrapped, elegant kimono approaches from the side of the room, bows to the gathered undead, and slowly, carefully grasps the long-side handle of the teapot, and pours out the hot, steaming liquid into each cup. The older man takes one in his hand, and sips it slowly before placing it on the table, as the lady on his right starts addressing the coterie one more time.
大名はあなたと直接話したくない。彼は彼の作った周期でリスクを負いたくない。
And those of you who speak Japanese will know the daimyo does not wish to talk directly with you. He does not wish to risk the progress he has made in his cycle.
I would say in Japanese, of course that can be respected. We're all on a path of betterment. We wouldn't want to delay his progress.
金人が私の町に到着。ここでどんな仕事をしていますか?
Kinjin arrive once more in my city. What business have you here?
Good question. What are we doing here?
Was it the blood plague?
We all came over on a boat.
Right.
We were hoping the daimyo could tell us why we're here. No, we're not going to
Blood
say.
disease.
City.
Have you had a regular juice?
Go ahead.
Oh.
Never mind, you got it.
Hey, goodness.
You'd be
Oh,
a better
we- Yeah, we have been sent here temporarily to try and track down a insidious blood disease. There's a blood disease that's ravaging the lands, and we're trying to find the source of it and stop.
あなたは私に町を襲ういくつかの病気について言いました。私はあなたが私に正直であるかどうか見たかったです。
I was told you were here about some disease ravaging the mortals in your city. I wished to see if you would be honest with me.
Yes, that is why we are here. The blood disease is causing senseless deaths and the disease is terrible to both kind and kindred alike. We only wish to stop it.
私はあなたが日本にいることを許可しますが、あなたが私自身の許可を得ない限り、あなたはこの会議の後に東京に入ることを制限されます。
Sorry, I thought she was saying that she had an earthquake in Tokyo, but my Japanese isn't very good, so... I shall allow you to exist in Japan. However, you are restricted from ever entering into Tokyo after this meeting, unless you have been given permission by myself.
I will give a bow. Thank you for your permission to pursue our search in Japan. We will respectfully avoid Tokyo without your permission, unless we have your permission.
これらの条件のもとにとどまることができます。許可なく東京に入らない。正当防衛じゃない限りガキを殺さないでください。あなたは私たちに代わって仕事をする任務を負います。あなたが手に入れたらあなたは去ります。
May stay under these conditions. Do not enter Tokyo without permission. Do not kill Gaki unless in self-defense. You will be tasked to do jobs on our behalf. Once you have what you came for, you leave. And fun fact for you, my wife is so polite she actually threw in a please in there.
Thank you. Your terms are most gracious.
千葉に空きができますので1ヶ月滞在させていただきます。その後、県内の他の場所を見つけるのはあなたと王子の責任です。
You'll be allowed space in Chiba. I shall give you a temporary place to stay for 1 month. After that, it shall be the responsibility of you and your prince to find somewhere else in the prefecture.
That is most gracious. That 1 month will be plenty of time for us to get on our feet.
あなたの種類は私たちにとって近人です。あなたは私たちが神聖なものとして保持しているものが終わりに近づいていることの印です。私に逆らわないでください。さもないとあなたは滅ぼされます。今、人々があなたを一時的な避難所に連れて行きます。彼は外であなたを待っていて、あなたが待っているかもしれないどんな質問にも答えます。
Literally translate this one. Your kind are kinjin to us. You are a sign of what we hold as sacred is coming to an end. Please don't defy me, or you will be destroyed. Now one of my people will take you to your temporary shelter. He is waiting for you outside and will answer any questions that you may have.
Yes, thank you. Again, thank you, and we will be on our way. I'll take a drink of the tea.
The whole time, Marcelina has been sipping the tea. And what kind of tea am I drinking?
Green tea.
Okay. And as I look around, what do I see in terms of like who else is in the room with him? Do they look like guards or, people that I would be familiar with in terms of, what I do?
Marcelina, you will spot several people who are quite obviously part of organized crime.
Okay. Okay. she will have at this point kind of counted the number out and memorized their faces just in case.
Yep.
And then with main man over here, Tanaka-san, has he been looking at us the whole time or kind of not at all?
He's more interested in the contents of his little cup.
Okay. With with that, you know, she will be the last, if it's okay with everyone else, she'll be the last to leave. Not saying anything, but kind of, you know, bringing up the rear for her coterie.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Daisy has only been paying attention to the conversation and is half distracted by the musicians.
Understandable.
Elias would get up, he'd give a bow, and then he'd head.
Solomon?
Yeah, I will. Solomon will have been sipping his tea while intently watching the conversation between Elias and the woman. Kind of waiting to hear good news, but not quite sure what's going on.
That makes sense. The coterie rise to their feet and make their way out of the exotic, dangerous bar and through the mortal-filled loud area out onto the streets, where they find another man, formally dressed, awaiting them outside his all-black car. He steps forward, raising his hand to shake the coteries as they approach. And I would remind you that those of you who cast Blush of Life still need to throw up.
Right, so as soon as we're outside, Marcelino will kind of put a finger up as like a hold on, and the nearest alleyway, she will kind of just, you know, it's sort of half turn into it and and vomit.
Roll
But make sure that
dexterity and
she's not
stealth for
seen.
me, please.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's fucking do this. Right. Okay. Stealth, you said, and dexterity. Okay. There we go.
Marceline will be able to covertly find her way to a nearby alleyway that's completely deserted and surreptitiously throws up the green tea that is still undigested and steams slightly in the night.
Are there any animals around? Rats, stray cats, or dogs?
Do wits... Yeah, wits and animalism for me. Animal ken, sorry. Wits and animal ken. Do you have a suitable speciality for this?
Would feral whispers count?
Not as a
That wouldn't really
speciality.
count. Well, with crows, I have a speciality for connecting with crows.
That absolutely counts.
Okay. Ugh.
I'm going to let you have that because of your speciality. And you will be able to catch sight of a murder of crows. They're just on the other side of the street, interested in the contents of a rubbish sack that they've managed to split open and spread across the pavement.
Like to puke into the rubbish sack. But try not to scare the crows away as I do it.
Dexterity and stealth for me, please. Someone's had a few nights out in their life.
You don't have to do it that way.
The Daisy crosses the road and manages to make it look like she is inspecting the rubbish, while she is surreptitiously regurgitating the contents of the green tea back into the sack without being seen.
If I can piggyback on that, I would also like to try to, with my back to everyone, grab a crow and feed on it.
Your feeding roll for me, please.
Do I get a bonus since that's a crow?
I'll give it to you this once and I'll have a look into it in the future.
I didn't even think about that till now.
That's fine. You're able to grab a crow and feed upon its vitae. What is your blood potency? 2?
Yeah.
And you have
Two.
animal succulents, don't you?
I do, which cancels out the veganism.
That's
so
right.
really, I just get normal blood.
So you may slake 2 hunger.
Here.
Annual succulents cancels out the veganism. Yes. I will wipe the blood from my face, kind of hide the dead crow in the rubbish, and return to the group.
Can I spot a cup or a drink or something like that?
Might be an empty can in this rubbish.
Wits and awareness. I knew that. I knew making a puking scene was necessary, but I also knew it would go this way.
And this is why I took eat food.
It's an opportunity to go to the bathroom before we left.
Yeah, you'll be able to find a discarded Starbucks cup rolling around on the pavement across the road. Probably fell out of a rubbish sack that Daisy made use of.
I would like to use the cup to spit into.
Dexterity and stealth for me, please.
Hoping to try to avoid doing this.
You don't have to do the stealth roll if you're okay being seen doing this.
Well, I guess I'll try to do it.
Oh, they have that. Elias crosses the road and picks up the Starbucks cup, noticing that it is slightly covered in one side on the regurgitated green tea Daisy just let up.
Ew.
And fill it yourself, placing it back in the rubbish sack and maintaining your own honour. You all cross the road again and get back in the car, which begins to make its exit slowly. Who would like to sit next to the driver? You got it.
I'll uncomfortably sit between Daisy and Elias.
This is a larger car. This is more like I think you call it a saloon, or is it a coupe?
Yeah.
It's a big
don't
fucking car.
Yeah, it's a bigger car.
Does it have 4 doors?
Yes. So did the last
Sedan.
one. The last one.
Difference between that.
Yeah. There.
No, the last one had 5 doors.
What does everyone look like? Can we do that real quick? What does everyone look like? Yeah.
So Daisy is a white girl with blonde dreads. Definitely hippie. Yup. Definitely a peasant shirt, long skirt.
Yeah.
This begs the question: what does Daisy smell of? Is, it
Patchouli.
old, is she an old socks kind of hippie, or is she an incense kind of hippie?
Incense. Patchouli. She smells like patchouli.
Probably some crystals somewhere on her person. Yeah.
Oh, there's definitely a crystal in her bra.
Yeah.
She wears one.
All right. Cool. Marcelina is actually short cropped hair on the sides and then kind of longer at the top, black hair. She's got really angular features. Her nose, while is kind of thin, it definitely looks like it's been broken at least once before, or rather from before. In her kind of, more masculine attire, dress wear, you can see kind of peaks of tattoos that come out on her, like peeking out like onto her wrist. She is wearing a blazer, in which earlier you guys would have seen her pull out her gun and have checked it and then put it back in there. Yeah, she's tall for a woman, but probably around probably like 5'11". Yeah, and she's got some like scars and stuff you can see like on her hands, and the skin that's visible, you'll be able to see some scarring on her. But yeah.
Elias would look a little older, but not like to the extreme as some of the past characters I've played. He'd have a beard and longer hair. He'd probably be kind of giving some of the hippie vibes, but not to the extreme that Daisy is. But he definitely has like a kind of longer, unbound hair, a beard. He would definitely be wearing. He's always wearing like a hat or a bandana or something like that on his head, and then he will either be depending on the temperature, something like a Hawaiian shirt or not quite a robe, but you know those like looser fitting, sometimes woven like throw things. Yeah, he'll be wearing a lot of those too. Maybe some like white shirts too. All cruelty free.
Totally, man.
Jesus creepers.
I like the Big Lebowski, actually. I'm going to use that picture.
You've got Jesus creepers, haven't you?
Jesus creepers.
Marcelina will remember not to show them her fur coat that she has in her luggage. She won't let them see that.
Solomon, how are you dressed?
I had to look it up because I almost called it the wrong thing. I almost said petticoat, which I found out is a dress and not what I was thinking it was.
Wrong thing.
No. No, he's not. No, he's wearing a peacoat is the correct term for it. He's got very thin, kind of rectangular glasses that he's wearing more so out of habit than for a need to wear them. And the peacoat was pretty much just to kind of blend in and not look so outstanding. I mean, compared to the other two coterie members we have. And he's just wearing some normal dress pants and dress shoes underneath that. But he mostly keeps his hands in his pockets and his collar puffed up.
Mm. Okay.
All right, Chad. The man sits in the driver's seat and slowly sets out on the road. The city of Tokyo is never dark, as street lights and various neon signs for businesses light up the many tall and imposing skyscrapers fill the inner city. The car makes its way from traffic jam to traffic jam, heading slowly out of the main city. The man, seemingly bored, tries to engage the kindred in conversation. And I'm not going to insult an entire country and attempt a Japanese accent, so just insert your own Japanese accent. The daimyo, Tanaka-san, is old, but he is not a bodhisattva. There hasn't been one since 1999. Many of the older gaki believe it a sign that we are now in the Sixth Age. Personally, I think if we were in the Sixth Age, we'd know. considering how much we're told it's the end of a cycle after all.
Oh, sweetheart. Before we get into all that talk, what's your name?
Nakajima-san. No, he wouldn't say san, so Nakajima.
Nakajima. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Marcelina. Will we be seeing you a lot? Or is this a one-time thing?
It's definitely a one-time thing, which is why I had so much trouble remembering my name.
Right, because that's, not something that you have your whole life, but that's all right. We all have our thing. Right, so about this six-stage business, something to be concerned about, truly. How many? Is it a very popular belief that we're in this six age?
It's a split.
Mm.
Of course, there's also people who would just like face value of saying one way or the other.
And you don't think that's the case? You think that it would be more clear if we were in the six age?
The way the Six Age has been described is like an apocalypse. Does this look like an apocalypse to you?
Have you seen the other countries, sir?
Why would I want to?
Exactly.
See,
I'd say I've lived through a few apocalypses myself, so nothing to worry about from me. Right, anything that we should know about where we're headed? About Chiba, I believe it was called. Anything dire going on over there that we should keep an eye out for?
lots.
Marcelina's all business, by the way. She's very
There is a great amount of activity in Chiba. After Tokyo, it is possibly one of the most densely populated prefectures in the country. I'm not overly familiar with the activities myself, though I am stationed in Tokyo. But I don't know much about Kinjin. Do you have your own apocalypse? I hear you're organized into clans, is that right? Are they like our clans of the sun?
Why you tell me a little bit about that and I'll be able to answer your question.
Clans of the sun, what we call the houses of Gaki here in Japan. Usually when someone returns from the second breath, they are eventually taken into whatever house is in the area they arose from. Though if their path is not aligned with the house in the area, they may seek a new one. Is it the same with Kinjin?
No. Whatever clan you're born into, that's the one you're stuck with.
Our clans also give us, in certain circumstances, different capabilities that other clans are unable to do.
How restrictive.
No, there are ways around that.
Interesting. Though not every newly returned Gaki is brought into a house successfully. Many become Akuma and follow only their desires. They are not Gaki in the true sense of the word. Destroying them may even grant you favor with the daimyo.
So,
That seemed. Go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It sounds as though. Oh, sorry. It sounds as though these Akuma are like when kindred become taken over by the beast and lose themselves.
Beast?
Sometimes when a kindred falls to their baser instinct and gives in to only the hunger, they lose themselves. They become driven by the beast and their desire.
It might even hurt someone.
I suppose it is exactly the same as that, and also not the same as that.
Think of the beast as like that little extra voice in your head. Tells you to do things you probably ought not do. Usually comes from your desire to eat.
Are you not
Need a
able
lot of
to seek?
control with that one.
Are you not able to seek balance between your yin and your yang?
That's a
what
good
happens
question.
to the beast when the yin and yang are thrown out of balance.
That
Interesting.
I am on a path of balance. I have come far, but I have far to progress still.
You follow a path.
Well, in a certain way of saying, I follow a path to enlightenment, to find balance and peace.
What path is it that you follow? Who is your instructor for this path?
Well, my sire started me on the path. That was long ago, and I lead myself, and I have disciples who I try to lead and guide along the path.
Where do you learn this guidance? Surely you must have some instructor or scripture to follow. Otherwise, what would make you different from Akuma?
It's the I believe there have been many who have followed the path, and not all have followed the path successfully or even interpreted the path the same. But generally speaking, it's the path of Golconda or enlightenment.
And he will suddenly slam on the brakes and stop the car. And you're in the back, aren't you?
Yes.
Put the car in neutral, turn around, and he'll just look at you. You follow the path of Zaulot.
In a manner of speaking, he did preach to say to restrain the beast, to pacify the beast, and to find a path of salvation without harm to others.
Marcelina, because you're in the front, you'll notice that this man is very surreptitiously reaching inside of his jacket, and you know exactly what he's considering. And then he'll just look at Elias. That name is a cursed name to our kind. Zaulot is anathema to our ways. He came to our land, he destroyed his teacher, and then he claimed enlightenment. His path is a false one.
I would give a horrified look, and then I would say that I've never heard such a thing, and for Salat to destroy the teacher and the guide who he followed for enlightenment, that goes against everything he preached and stood for. I certainly do not want to destroy a being. I want to seek enlightenment.
Marcelin will notice that his hand is sort of relaxing from his jacket as Elias is saying this.
Hers is in her pocket, like in her jacket. Kind of, she was, ready just in case.
Is there a way I can find more information about this? I want to seek true enlightenment, not a false enlightenment.
Of course there is. There is what has come before. The 5 ages. And then after that, it is for a student to find their own path to enlightenment. If it is meant to be, it is meant to be. But always remember balance between the yin and the yang. He'll turn around and he'll start the car up again.
I'll pat
You'll have-
Elias on the shoulder and say, "It's okay, man. I used to follow Fish until they stopped touring, too."
It's the band.
It's a jam band.
Yeah.
It's equal to the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Yes, it's never good when your belief in something is shaken, but at the same time, it's better to know the truth than to live a lie.
Marcelina will nod and she's looking out the window at, what we pass by and such, and sort of says this. She's very pointedly speaking to the driver, but is trying to make it look like she's just generally speaking. And she says, there's a lot to learn in being in a foreign place. Culture differences. You'll forgive my friend here. Clearly, he did not know the weight of his words. With that being said, could I trust your discretion as he realigns himself on the proper path?
His belief is of no interest to me, but should he begin spreading false words of Zaulot here, it will draw unwanted attention.
Well, I think we'll be all right then, won't we, Elias? You won't be spreading falsities around.
But tell me, do you have some apocalypse legend in your own culture? Do you have ages?
We had the Age of Aquarius.
What is this Age of Aquarius?
Time of peace and love, man.
I don't think that was what he was referring to. In fact, quite the opposite. We do have our own lore about such things, but not framed in ages. Not quite the same.
Yes.
Ours is referred to as... Go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish.
Ours is referred to as Gehenna.
Gehenna? And what is that?
Yeah.
I don't remember most of it. I stayed stoned the whole time. Lost a lot.
I have two occult. Would that give me a rudimentary understanding of
I
Gehenna
think
and
you'll
King
all
Isaac?
know, if you
Okay.
weren't really
Yeah.
stoned, what Gehenna is.
Well,
That's gonna be fucking good weed. Let's just take a moment here. So, like, the end of the world.
Did you read
What?
my bio? That is actually Daisy's backstory on how she survived Gehenna when all the other Ravnos. She was stoned the whole time.
Don't.
just so
Oh my
dissociated, it couldn't touch her.
Hurry, Daisy, you must help our clan. What? Huh? Huh?
Week of nightmares when the Ravnos antediluvian
backstory.
arises from beyond death once more, brings ravaging destruction across the Indian subcontinent, destroys 2 top-of-the-range Bodhisattvas, and is finally brought down by the detonation of not 1, not 2 nuclear weapons, but 2 nuclear weapons and the power of the actual sun brought down. And Daisy's just there like, anyone got any fucking biscuits?
It was intense.
Yeah. There's a lot going on right now.
I thought I was playing my music too loud and it was shaking my room.
Gehenna is a belief
And I got high.
that the antediluvians, the eldest among us from ancient, would once again awaken and devour the world.
And then what?
I don't
And then
know.
that is the end. Well, really, it depends. It depends who you follow. There's some that believe the Dark Mother will arise and wash the world in a great flood. There are others that follow a different ideal.
Happened already.
The idea being that the whole of kindred would cease. Doesn't mention too much about kind.
Even the kind believes that the world was going to end in 2012, and we're still here, aren't we?
Oh man, I met this guru at the Fish concert in '99 that totally said that the world was ending that year.
I think there would be some people who would disagree that the world did certainly end in 2012. Things have not been so great. If you've seen, in the West, it's not doing too hot.
For the kind, yes.
Though you are not aware of the 5 ages.
No, not at all. And I would love for you to explain.
Is that similar to Y2K?
I don't listen to rap music, I'm afraid.
Amazing.
First age, the age of heaven, the age of the great cycle, a time before time when all things were one. Second age of the great cycle, the age of beauty, when the Middle Kingdom and Spirit Courts were still close together. Third age of the great cycle, the age of legends, the mythical prehistory of the Middle Kingdom, when Nagaki walked among and ruled humanity as benevolent spirits. The fourth age of the great cycle, the age of beautiful sadness, heralded by the Gakis forsaken of their heavenly duties. Human history begins at this point, and the Gaki trace our vulnerability to sunlight to this time, specifically the Chao dynasty. And now the age of darkness, the fifth age of the great cycle, a time period extending roughly from first contact with the West to tonight. And the coming sixth age, the age of sorrow. I suppose it is similar to your Gehenna. Most of us see the sixth age as a necessary part of existence, because then, after the sixth age, the cycle starts once more. And what about courts? Do you have courts in your culture?
But like try people
No.
for crimes?
Groups of your various kind.
I think you mean like the Camarilla? Something like that?
I suppose.
You mean
We
smaller
have
than
that.
coterie?
bigger than this group here. Perhaps not as large as the entire Camarilla. We have several. We have green courts, which inhabit Korea and nearby areas in China. The green courts are renowned for their love of jade and their non-committal stance in larger struggles. The daimyo of
And tell us-
Tokyo... Sorry, please.
No, I was gonna. You go on. I was gonna just say to explain that a little more. This idea of courts, is it a like a territorial geographical thing, or?
It would be similar to that. The daimyo of Tokyo has a large court, but to the dismay of the Bishamon, the Genji and their vassal Uji have set up their own little empires in the business world, and making contacts and deals with the invading Kinjin. No offense. Older Gaki
None
have
taken.
attempted to rein in these young nonconformists, but with little success so far. Too many Genji have held their positions too long to be simply removed. An all-out civil war among the Gaki on the island tends to bring down the wrath of the mortal authorities and shatter the fragile peace between the two Uji. Thus, we all wait, young and old alike, as the island dies a little each night because of the burnings. Older courts think that the age of sorrow is at hand, and they perceive their own problems against the Kinjin as a sign that we are in the Sixth Age. The Genji Mayo, however, continue to go their own way, widening the disparity between themselves and us. The Genji think they know better, but they are the future of this island. And he will look at you, and he will see that you are just as... What? I'm sorry. I forget that you don't use proper terms for things. Bishamon is a house of Gaki. The Genji Mayo is a noble house of Japanese Gaki who are involved with the modern corporate culture. Court is a group of Gaki who join together to advance common material or spiritual goals. I suppose it somewhat resembles the difference between your Camarilla and whatever smaller is than a Camarilla. Many of our courts use corporations, tongs, or secret societies as pawns and smokescreens. And Uji is the term for the Gaki courts, a group of like-minded individuals together. Uji would be synonymous with court in this instance. I see we are nearly at our destination, but please, if you have any questions.
I do. ST, actually, I have a question. Just so that I'm understanding this right. So, the Uji are Gaki courts. There's however many of those, and they all fall under Uji. Then Genji is like another set of that.
The Genji Mayo is an Uji.
I see. Okay.
I have been requested to give you the Cliff Notes version afterwards, which I shall do.
Yes, please, thank you. Because I don't know if I took those notes correctly. Okay.
Anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a word of advice for you. Be wary of the Hengi Yokai. They are shapeshifters, and we have been in constant struggle with them since time immemorial. They mostly stay out of the cities and developed areas, preferring the countryside. The downside of that is, plenty of places have dangerous areas of non-developed areas or farmland, in between places that are developed. We don't know their agenda, or what they want. They hate everything not of their kind, it seems. Oftentimes they take on wolf form, but they can be almost any animal. Be on your guard.
The lupine.
Hengi Yokai.
They're very similar, but they seem to be able to do not just that lupine form, but others. Am I understanding that correctly? They can take on other animal-like forms?
Some people think so, some people think not. They have resisted all attempts to talk with us.
I see.
Yes, I do hear that they have quite a disdain for our kind.
So, there's these Hangi Okai, and then these
Bless you.
others that you mentioned, the Akuma, but they're
The Akuma.
essentially feral kindred. I'm understanding that correctly?
Akuma are Gaki that have, let's say, not been able to find balance with their Po. Sorry.
Right.
They are out of alignment with their yin and yang.
Right, I can understand that. Well, is that something, do they attack often, or... You say we should be wary, and I want to know just how much we should be wary of these kinds.
There is not one single template for them. Some of them are able to regain some control. Others just always loom in the darkness. We are always on the lookout for them, and should you find yourself in confrontation with one, I wouldn't recommend combat with it, but should you, and if you succeed, you may actually gain favor with the daimyo.
Marcelina puts that on her to-do list.
We shall arrive in Chiba Prefecture shortly. I am taking you to Funabashi, a village called Onakita. We have arranged a temporary safe house there for you. As I understand it, there are other Kinjin arriving soon. In a month's time, you will need to arrange something more permanent for yourselves. But before we depart, is there anything you wish to ask of me? I may not answer your every question, but we have some time still.
I'm not going to come up with another ridiculous question. Just have a ridiculous question.
I've,
Ready?
been given a lot. Pardon me. I've been given a lot to think on. Thank you for your time.
He's going to sort of lean in to Marcelina. He's not going to kill himself, is he?
Oh, I don't think so. I think you've kind of shaken his foundation. No, I don't think killing himself is in the plan. If he does, well, that'll be something we'll have to deal with when we get to that bridge. I do have a question. Now, I understand you won't be able to give all the answers. How do I phrase this? Tanaka-san, is he involved with, how do I phrase this without sounding offensive? Is he, well, I guess fuck it. Is he involved with the Yakuza or any type of organization such as this?
Yes.
Oh, delightful. That's wonderful to know. Thank you so much. I just wanted to clear that up for myself.
Yeah, and he'll just be like, strange question, of course he bloody is. And at this point, we shall take a break. We'll be right back. Night, the vast, thriving city of Tokyo fades behind them. The developed, clean buildings fade away to countryside, replaced by tall grass and strange-shaped trees that line the roads. The gaps between buildings become wider and wider every so often. The occasional patch of green land yields to a small paddy field. Hardly any free space is left unused. The car passes through the odd small villages until they come into a developed town. The buildings are so close together they give an almost claustrophobic feel to the streets. The car runs along a very large field and turns into a cul-de-sac, just past a sad little gravel playground with a single rusted swing in it. The car turns into the drive outside the plain white house that looks like every other house on the entire road, and their driver says to them, "This is the place. We've fitted thick curtains inside. If you want to be even more secure, there are wardrobes inside you can be safe in. Kioskete. Matane." Everyone leaving?
No. I have a question. So, in this part of Japan, granted, I'm basing this on a meme. Do they have those where you basically rent like a cubbyhole bed for a night? Anyone know what I'm talking about?
I do,
Night friend
yeah.
is talking about.
That's Tokyo.
Yeah.
That's just
But
Tokyo.
in Tokyo.
That is just Tokyo, I believe.
That is just
Possibly
Tokyo.
Kyoto
Okay.
as well. But yeah, that space isn't that much of an issue outside of Tokyo. But
Thanks.
like a rock and roll bed.
I mean, it's basically like where do you put
It
dead
literally
bodies?
looks
It's
like
basically
a
not for
coffin.
living people.
It looks like
Oh!
yeah.
Yeah, that's Tokyo.
Okay.
Yeah, cube hotels.
That's what
Yeah.
it is. I knew it was something hotels.
Yeah.
It's always something hotel. Cube hotel, love hotel.
Well.
I
Man.
will stay in the car and wait for everyone else to get out.
And the man hands Daisy a single key and says, "You can have these on you, otherwise you won't be able to get inside."
Thank you. Can you tell me, is there a hotel close by you could take me to? Maybe like a mile or so away?
Nearest hotel is Funabashi. That is a 4-mile drive.
I think
But
it
travel
may be
arrange-
hard for you to find the place.
Travel arrangements will not be an issue. I believe the Camarilla has something in mind for you.
That'd be lovely then. Sorry, wrong character. That'd be awesome then. Can you take me there?
To the Camarilla.
No, to the hotel.
I'm afraid I'm not your taxi service. Please,
Daisy.
trust the Camarilla.
I was trying to wait till everyone got out of the car to have this conversation, by the way.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, all right. So then, before that happens, oh, he already said he's probably not going to see us again. Never mind. Right, with that, yeah, Marcelina will give him a nod. I guess notice that Daisy is hanging back a little bit and take note of that, and then proceed to get out of the car.
Oh, fine then. Have a wonderful evening. I'll say in Japanese, have a good night, morning, whatever, and get out.
Konbanwa.
Whoa,
No, I don't think that was it.
No?
That's like saying
I'm
good
not-
evening. No, that's not even like that. That's like saying hello.
I will get out of the car and thank him. Thank you for everything you've helped us with tonight and everything you've told us. You've been very helpful.
Yosuke. That is Japanese for take care.
Okay, I will say that.
Your character has speak Japanese, right?
Yes.
So a small nuance that you will notice is that he said Kiyoskete rather than O Kiyoskete. O denoting a modicum of respect. Or
Okay.
formality.
So he was saying take care without respect.
As if you were a younger child or yeah. Or perhaps a peer. That isn't discounted either, but the point is he's not granting you respect of someone that he would look favourably upon necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And he will
Given
hand
the
you a key.
situation.
Well, you guys have a great sleep, and I'll catch up with you later. And I start walking to the closest busy road.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask you here. What are you trying to do? Because I might have something in mind for you if it's what I think.
I'm trying to sleep a mile away from this house. My plan was to try and hitchhike somewhere.
I've got something in mind for you, don't worry.
So I should go into the house?
Put your faith in me, I have you covered.
Okay. Well, then never mind. I will go in the house.
You open the door to the house, finding a small step in front of you, with 6 cheap plastic-looking slippers upon it. The narrow hallway in front of them has a door to their immediate left, and another open door at the end of the corridor that leads into the toilet. A set of stairs hide behind a small partition that sticks out on the right. Where would you like to go?
I'll slip off my Birkenstocks and put one of the pair of slippers on.
You'll take off
Yeah, I'm
your
going to do
shoes and step up.
same.
And you, I take it. Are you all taking off your shoes and putting on the slippers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Of course, the guy who can't walk doesn't know
Oh.
proper shoe etiquette.
Or speak Japanese, doesn't know etiquette.
Exactly.
Solomon, given where we are and the nature of the people here, mayhaps you take off your shoes and put on your house shoes?
Well, if this is where we are today, should we not feel comfortable in the clothes that we wear into it? I am not used to taking off my own shoes in my own house.
Comfy as the Birkenstocks, but they're certainly comfier than those shoes you're wearing.
Something I learned early on in life, especially when you're not in your house but in someone else's, there's usually eyes still on you. I think it best that we follow certain traditions, get into the habit, as to make sure we don't offend later on. We never know who's watching.
If it will provide comfort to the rest of you, then I suppose I shall abide.
Thank you. Much appreciated, dear.
Thank you, Solomon. Remember, it's always good to love thy neighbor as you love yourself.
Speaking of, are you all right, Elias? You doing okay? You got a little bit of a start there in the car.
Sorry. Yes, I'm quite well, thank you. It was troublesome and worrisome to hear such horrible things about Salat, but if his reaching Golconda and his enlightenment was false, it doesn't change my path any. I will still strive for enlightenment and strive to reach true Golconda and true enlightenment. I won't stray from that path and murder as he did.
We'll see. When she says that, she's going to look about. You said there's a short step and then it leads into the house, or is there like many doors to choose from?
A small hallway, the end of which is the toilet, a closed door on your left, and a partition that separates with stairs that lead up on the right.
Right. So, I guess we need to pick our rooms. I call upstairs, and I'm going to go towards the partition that leads to the upstairs.
The wooden stairs twist up and round the corner. At the top of the steps on the immediate right is an open door to a large bedroom with one of the walk-in wardrobes the coterie were told about inside it. Around the corner of the landing are 3 more doors, all open and held in place by magnetic catches on the floor. the first door is another loo, while the other two lead to large bedrooms, each with their own walk-in wardrobes.
Is there, out of the rooms, is there a smaller one in comparison to the other rooms?
Room, if you're at the top of the stairs, round to the left, door just after the loo is a smaller bedroom. And then, because you've got,
Okay.
it's basically loo, small bedroom, and then like that is a large bedroom. And then immediately to your right at the top of the stairs is another large bedroom.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the smallest room and claim that one as my own.
You got my room, well done.
Yeah.
I take it there
Right.
isn't many forms of furniture in any of the rooms, other than maybe a bed.
In the bedrooms, there's nothing.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Wardrobe.
Yeah. Those annoying slidey door wardrobes that break after about 3 months.
As she runs upstairs, I'll open the doors to the left.
The door swings open and is caught by a magnet on the floor with a loud click. Daisy can see a large room. At the back half of the room is split in two, with an open arch leading to the kitchen and a door on the right. To the left is a sliding door with paper panels. In the middle of the floor is a folded piece of paper with a wet red wax seal on it. I do this to myself.
I will pick up and open the paper with the wet wax seal.
You should hear me sing Red Right Hand.
Wet white wine.
The seal is broken. It's terrible on Valentine's Day when I've got to order red roses and Ferrero Rocher. The seal is broken and paper easily unfolded. Written in extremely well-crafted calligraphy is a note that reads, "Welcome to Japan, kindred. Your arrival has been forewarned to us for quite some time now. Though only about half of your coterie is here currently, the others will be arriving at some point soon. For the time being, you are cordially invited to Elysium. Elysium for your area is a short walk from your house to a pub. A guide is provided below. It goes without saying that you should ensure this note is destroyed. You will still need to present yourself to the Prince of Tokyo, but she will summon you when she is ready to meet you." And it is signed Shade, Harpy of Funabashi. And below that, a comparatively crude drawing showing the way to a pub. A 20-minute walkway is etched into the paper below.
I'll yell up the stairs, "Hey, we got invited to Elysium!"
I am assuming I hear this.
yeah.
I will. I will.
wasn't very good.
Yeah.
The walls are paper thin.
After settling my things, you know, it wasn't mentioned, but I kind of like to imagine she's got this like rolly luggage with her, to which she, you know, unpacks her clothing, and then beneath she reveals a special box, and in that special box are her tools, and she when she hears the noises, she will have been in the process of like cleaning them in a way that is almost like a compulsion that she has to do. She stops midway at hearing, kind of like jolts at hearing the loud noise, and then will settle her things down and kind of creep back downstairs and pop up behind behind Daisy. Now, what's this you got here? An invitation?
I'll just hand her the paper.
Well, she'll carefully rip the map part off and keep that to herself. Did everyone get to read?
No,
I would. Sorry.
that's it.
I would wander in. I hear we've been invited to Elysium. That's great news.
Is it? Well, Hopefully it is. Seems here we won't be able to see the prince directly. They'll call upon us when ready. I don't know that I like that so much, but if that's how they do things here, I suppose we should respect it.
Well, as long as the prince is aware that we are here and has been notified, that is fine.
Indeed.
You can see that she's incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah, man, take a chill pill.
There's too many variables. I don't like it. Well, y'all mind if I destroy this then?
By all means.
Wonderful.
Can't even read it.
As long as we know how to get to this pub that we're supposed to go to.
Yes, I took care of that. We should be able to find it. It seems it's not that far from here. So, is that where we should head? How many hours do we have left in the night?
You're good.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. Mayhaps we settle in and then head that way?
Yeah. Otherwise, we'd have to role play a slumber party for an hour.
I'd be down.
Yeah. Yes, I think we should head to this pub. Maybe we'll meet some friendly kindred.
I don't know about that. It's a good thing to hope, I suppose, but I don't know.
Well, think of it this way. The faster we make connections in this new city, the faster we can accomplish our goals.
Yes, well said.
All right, then.
We can make our connections, and if the other kindred aren't friendly, maybe our happy little coterie will start convincing them others.
Oh, I'm sure some of them are cool.
I have a question, ST. So, because I know kindred can't eat or drink for the most part. What about like cigarettes and stuff like that? Is that something that they can not eat the cigarette, but you know what I mean?
If you pass Blush of Life, you can smoke a cigarette.
Okay.
Kindred don't have lungs.
Just need. Right. We don't have functioning lungs. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
As
Cool.
we found out in the last chronicle when we threw Thurston to the bottom of the Thames.
Oh no.
It was voluntary. I had my swim trunks on.
Okay, well, in that case. All right.
Like to rummage in my backpack down at the bottom, pull out a joint, hide it in my pocket, and then I'll leave the backpack. Exactly.
Well. All right. Cool.
Which I thought that
Essay
when I
on
came
that
here.
note, right?
All right.
So
then.
we're heading to Elysium.
Yeah.
The kindred leave the house. Ooh, I've got a scene for this. Hurrah. The kindred leave the house and step out onto the tarmac, following the map's direction, heading straight along the road with no pavement, and clings safely to the edge of the road, walking beside the tall hedges and strange yet unfamiliar houses. The sounds of passing cars only broken by the occasional strange siren. Even this far from Tokyo, the country never sleeps. Elias. No, I asked you first last time. Solomon. You've been given some information on the current goings-on in Japan. You've ascertained that the Camarilla isn't as strong as it likes to make itself out usually. And you're currently on your way to a new Elysium to meet with members of the Camarilla. What are your thoughts and feelings right now?
He's just looking forward to knowing who we might be working with for the time being. He's pretty much dead set on researching and discovering what this whole plague is about. He's sort of fascinated by it. And right now he's in a foreign land without any equipment other than what he brought on his back, which is just his clothes. So as soon as we get to find out who we're working with, what type of resources that they can spare to us, even if we have to pay for it, that's all that's kind of going through his mind at the moment.
Barcelina, so I don't forget you. You've settled in. You've even claimed a room before anyone else was able to. What are your thoughts and feelings as you're making your way to Elysium?
There's a degree of discomfort because of, as I said earlier, lots of variables that she has to take in, not just because of the Camarilla and the way that the prince does things, but also like all these other factors, houses, courts, all these other things. It's a lot to keep track of, and she is hoping that that everybody is cooperative in what they need to do, as to make this as smooth as possible and to just get the mission done. So yeah, little bit of discomfort at the moment.
Daisy.
She ain't bothered.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, but what's going through your mind right now? Want to smoke this joint, want to smoke this joint, want to smoke this joint.
Well, if I remember right, though, smoking the joint actually won't do anything to her, right? Yeah, so the whole point of bringing the joint around is to find people who smoke joints and become friends with them. It's always good to have a joint in your pocket, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Friendly.
So, like, there's all of this other stuff going on, but it's above her, and she's just trying to find cool people to hang out with. So she's hoping maybe there'll be cool kindred at Elysium, maybe they'll pass someone on the way there. She's just always prepared to chill.
Daisy is my spirit animal in this chronicle. Elias, you're on your way to meet some kind, new kindred. Perhaps make some friends and spread the word of Golconda and enlightenment. What are your thoughts and feelings right now?
Yes, Elias is excited to be in the east. This is the path Salat took, which is exciting to go on that pilgrimage. He is shaken, having heard that apparently Salat lied about achieving enlightenment, and did some abhorrent things. So this is something that's kind of playing in the back of his mind. He's going to want to be, he wants to do some research and make some discoveries of that on his own. Yeah, he's excited to go to the pub to start meeting other kindred. Hopefully the kindred over here are friendlier than the kindred he's used to. But he knows he's being hopeful.
As you make your way to the pub, a short walk from your house, is there anything the coterie would like to talk about amongst each other?
Right.
As we walk down the street, I'm just going to keep an eye out for what animals are around, strays, crows, birds. Not do anything, just kind of mental note where to find them. People better put collars on their cats and dogs. That's all I got to say.
You will see the odd cat here and there, and you'll see maybe not necessarily a dog but you will see signs that people do own dogs. Little kennels outside their house. And of course, for whatever it's worth, many insects. As big as your fucking face.
Right. So you described that the buildings are all fairly like close together. We're not in what is my question? But okay, so in terms of people, right? Is there people out? Is it similar to Tokyo where people are kind of always around, or is this more
There are
sparingly?
cars here and there. Very, very, very few people at this time of night. Walking, I mean.
Okay, so it's pretty quiet. Okay. All right, so I don't know what I would have to roll for this, or if you'd make me roll for this, but can I see, as I look around, do I see any signs of like graffiti or things that would let me know if there is like a criminal underground here?
I mean, that's going to be an automatic success, and not in this little village.
Okay, just getting the sense. Okay.
Let me rephrase that. Not on this route in this village.
Okay, I will put a pin in that for later.
The coterie walk down the steep, curved hill and can see the building they've been told about. Paper lanterns are lit up outside the small wooden building, illuminating the small road, and large bouncer standing by the door as they head into the small pub. Don't argue with me. Finding the pub of a moderate size, with a wooden floor and tightly compact booths with several stools nailed into the floor in front of the bar, with small bamboo rods propping it up. Before the coterie can even decide what to do, a man, clearly not Japanese, but well dressed in a formal suit, approached them with the first smile they've seen of the entire night. "Ah! New blood! Wonderful, wonderful! You have finally arrived. We have been quite excited to meet you. Word of your arrival has come well in advance of you, though your reasons for being here are unknown to us. Sorry, I'm Shade. I'm Harpy of Funabashi."
I'll hold out my
Pleasure
hand.
to meet you.
Hey man, how are you?
And he'll just take it and shake your hand. "I am well, thank you. How are you?"
Cool.
"Nice to meet you, Cool."
She won't correct him.
Great, I know I've got to make that in the fucking notes.
Marcelina won't necessarily step forward, but she will kind of give a nod of recognition and say, "Pleasure to meet you."
Pleasure to meet you, Shade.
Marcelina.
He's outstretching his hand. If you want to take it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Nope, she doesn't.
And he'll just give you this smile. The others?
Elias would smile. "Oh, it's such a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Shade. It's good to see another friendly fellow." And I will take his hand and shake it, and then I'll pull him in for a hug. It's so good to meet other friendly kindred.
He'll be pulled in for the hug, mostly because he's been taken completely off guard by this, and there's this very awkward one-way hug going on. He's just like, "Yeah. Okay. Elias, was it?"
Yes, Elias.
"Right. Okay. Who's the other guy?"
You can call me Solomon. I will not remove my hands from my pockets.
And he isn't going to extend his hand to shake it after being pulled in for a hug. So, friendly faces. Indeed. Elysium is safe. We will not tolerate any kind of aggression here. Make no mistake, though, the moment you step outside, the protection ends. Our numbers here are somewhat smaller than what you are used to. Funabashi is host to about 20 kindred that we know of. There could be more or less on any given night, though. Nosferatu are somewhat rare here. Their usual haunt that you are familiar with, the sewers, is not exactly a wise choice here. Tunnels are also tricky business, what with the earthquakes and all, which leaves their numbers abnormally small. The few we do have, though, know a lot about the goings-on. Just hard to track them down. All the usual clans are represented by and large. We even have someone from the Banu Hakim, one of our most recent arrivals, yourselves excluded. Anyway, would you care for a drink? Sake, shochu, whiskey, beer? I fancy some sake myself.
Yes, I'll... Oh, go ahead.
I'll lean in close and say hello. Hey, man, do you know where I can get the good stuff?
Shochu.
Oh, the good stuff.
It's got gold flakes in it.
No, I mean the good stuff, man.
I believe
I don't
she's
know what you're
referring
referring to.
I believe she's referring to drugs.
Stuff.
You would have
Things to
to
become-
probably find the local Yakuza for that. That's not very easy to find here. And he's giving you this very
Oh,
judgmental
fine.
look.
I'll just take stuff with the gold flakes in it.
Very well. Shochu it is. Anybody else?
You mentioned the sake was good. I'll take some of that.
Sake, of course.
I will take some of whatever you recommend.
Shochu. Why not celebrate? Miss Marcelina?
She's still hungry. How does one pose this?
Ask him for the good stuff.
Is there something? Whoa, wrong accent. Is there something a little more nutritious on hand?
Ah. Of course. Of course, if that is what you so wish.
Yes, I have a particular taste.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
one
know
of
how to
those,
put
are
it
you?
delicately. Yes, I don't know how to request this. I'm not particular to kind. I like something with a little bit more kick to it.
I believe we may be able to accommodate. Perhaps one of the Primogen may be willing, if we have trouble. They are mostly here tonight. But first,
Delightful.
let me sort out your companions. And he'll turn to the bartender. And what was it? Was it 3?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Gives a nod to the bartender, who gestures off to the side as 3 Japanese men in t-shirts stumble in and sit at the bar. Shade approaches one from behind, or before them. Shade approaches one from behind and slowly bites into the man's shoulder, staking his own thirst. You can't beat shochu. Please, don't stand on ceremony. Kampai, as they like to say.
Oh, my apologies. This must just be a mistake of formalities. I wasn't expecting any vitae. I am actually quite parched, but I wouldn't mind an actual glass of your soju.
Slightly surprised. Of course. Click his fingers, and the barman reaches underneath the bar, lays out a clay, handleless cup. Reaches under and gets out an extremely large, almost comical-sized bottle, green, and pours it into the glass for you. And you can even see the cup, and you can even see glass flakes floating inside of it. The pungent, strong alcoholic aroma immediately hits your nasal passages.
I can't remember the eat food merit. Can you taste it, or is it just you can consume it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
It's a bit of a grey area, but we'll assume that you can.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I'll take a light sip from it. Exquisite. Thank you very much.
Miss Daisy, Elias, please.
I will have struck up a conversation with mine. Daisy, how are you?
You have speak Japanese as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Bollocks. What?
That is a cop out. Hey, do you know where someone might go around here to get high?
Yeah, it's a pretty high chair.
Oh no, to get stoned, man.
Why would you want that? You're just gonna get hit by something, and that is going to hurt.
I've given you too much. You're useless. I'll push him off the stool.
Whoa!
Seeing him fall over, I will hurry over to help pick him up. And I'll say in Japanese, "Oh, sir, are you okay? You took a tumble."
That's just fine.
I'll help pick him up and sit him down, and brush him off a little bit.
Marceline is watching this with great interest.
Great. Yeah, who? What are you? What's time?
What time is it? It's quite late at night. I'm just a friendly seeker of the path of enlightenment.
Elias, didn't your sire ever teach you not to play with your food?
Excuse me, Solomon? What do you mean?
The great Harpy here offered these fine gentlemen for us to slake our hunger. I am not partaking because I am quite satiated. I did not realize that you wanted a conversation, or else I would have obliged for that for you.
Yeah, yes, I'm terribly sorry. It was, I misunderstood the question. I don't typically, feed in such a way.
I'm just looking for the good stuff, man.
I might be able to help you with that. Just need to handle some little odds and ends first. I might be able to arrange some of that for you there, Daisy.
Oh, man. That would be tubular. Apparently she's part server, too.
Yeah.
As part of the trials and tribulations of following a path of enlightenment. I've grown used to staving off my hunger and going without. I will be fine.
That seems an awful lot of trouble. Well, if no one else is going to eat, and she'll turn to the gentleman, to Shade, and say, "And now for my drink. You think you can help me with that?"
I had a thought, out of game, I had a thought that you might be able to feed on thin blood vitae, and that would count, but I don't think it does. I think it has to be full-on kindred rather than thin blood vitae. Which makes things tricky. If I, bad timing. If I understand your request properly, you can only feed on others of our kind, shall we say.
That's right.
Just this once, and he'll pop a button on his shirt and offer you his arm.
Ew.
She
No way.
smiles a little. She smiles a little bit at that, and before Daisy could like actually look away, she'll wink at her, and then she'll feed from him, just enough to take the edge off.
I'll let you take 2 hunger for free, rather than do the roll for it, because that would be a weird roll in this instance, because he's not going to resist, and then he'll button the shirt back up. So you may take 2 hunger. No one actually fed apart from... No one actually fed. And you're just going to leave these 3 drunken Japanese men putting their heads in their hands at the bar, watching it spin around them. So, what was the business you have come here for? We are all on tender hooks, dying to know.
We, Go
Okay.
ahead.
No, you go, because mine would be terrible.
No, Solomon, what were you saying?
Go ahead, Solomon.
Oh, I was
I
taking the
was-
piss out of you two being super polite to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't
Um,
sure if it was a joke or not.
Back in our homeland, in our cities we're from, there's a sort of blood disease that's ravaging the kind and the kindred through, and as a result affecting kindred. And we have, for some reason, we've traced the origins to Japan, Nihon. So we have come here to try to find out where it's come from and if we can find a cure.
Blood
Holy
disease,
fucking
you
everything
say?
up.
Yes, a blood disease. Has there been any such thing that you've heard of in this area, or?
We did have a similar issue a year back or so. We had the government close the borders, which helped considerably. If it's based in the blood, a good place to start would be the Tremere. Wonderful fellows. They make haven in... Oh, fuck, why do I do this to myself? In Chiba Tokushukai Hospital. Dr. Laram is the primogen.
That's Toshiba Hospital?
Chiba Tokushukai Hospital.
I'm not familiar with the Tremere from around here, but are they quite favorable to or the rest of their kinds? The Tremere back from where we're from tend not to associate with others outside of their clan.
Yeah, they all have corn cobs up their asses.
That is one way of putting it, yes.
Interesting. There's so few of us in this prefecture. We tend to know each other. I mean, obviously, the Tremere Primogen isn't here tonight. But 3 of them came out tonight. Probably for you. And talking of which, what blood are you all?
None of us are all that forthcoming about it.
Well, since you offered me a kind drink, I shall share. I hear that I share blood with the Prince of Japan. I am Clan Zemixi, you see.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I believe we shall be firm friends.
I hope so.
I'm surprised you couldn't tell what I was, given my bite. But Hakata. I'm from Clan Hakata.
Oh, Hakata, how interesting. There's a small, unaligned group near here. Oh God almighty, in the Hachioji Shrine. They are led by someone named Shinu.
I might stop by then and say hello to my kin.
And the rest of you? Miss Cool?
You might have had some of my bros and sisters come by here. I'm Ravnos.
Yes, they have. They have wandered through. Never stay, of course. That reminds me. And he will literally do the whole clap thing because he's a bit tacky. Reach into his jacket and give you 6 plastic cards with a magnetic strip on the side. These are Pasmo cards. They've currently been charged with 1,000 yen. You will need them to make use of the excellent Pasgo cards. You will need them to make use of the excellent public transportation systems. They'll work on buses and trains. Just scan them over the machine. You don't need to do anything else. Wonderful inventions.
Nice. And I'll put them out like a handful of cards, fan them all out, and offer them to everyone else.
She'll take them.
Yeah, they are.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
I'll put the extra in my pocket.
I am of the Clan of the Moon.
Roll. Charisma subterfuge, please.
Oh, Lord. Marcelina actually will, when he says his clan, she will kind of subtly drift a little closer to him, just in case.
Ah, Malkavian. Just over there is Varaxin. He's the Primogen of the Malkavians. That booth there is the Ventru of the Primogen, Cabraxis.
Ah.
And he is talking with the Toreador Primogen, Sakura. Don't question it. You know what roses can be like.
Indeed.
Are you familiar with what we have for... Oh, what's that word? Sheriff?
It was mentioned to us.
We don't refer to him as such. We call the sheriff Musashi. It is a title name. And Scourge, is it? The other position?
That's right.
We have a Ronin.
Interesting.
I hear that your sheriff was a little lackluster.
Musashi usually prefers to stay in his haven, studying. No idea what he studies. He's not really one to socialize.
Cause of concern? His lacklusterness, I mean.
When there's so few kindred, it's hardly a cause for concern. We've been mostly autonomous anyway.
I see.
But please.
And we did.
No.
We did discuss why we're here, yes?
This blood disease.
Yes.
Yes, a good place to start. Tremere Primogen.
And where might we find said Primogen?
He will turn to Elias.
The Tremere Primogen, I believe you said he was in Shiba Tokushikai Hospital, correct?
Spirits
The
there, that's close
hospital.
enough.
Clever. I definitely want to see them. Well, you've been delightful, thank you.
Pleasure, please. Feel free to mingle. I think dawn approaches soon. Be wary of the time difference, of course. The prince shall summon you in due course, most likely when the rest of your coterie have arrived.
What was that Tremere Primogen's name again?
Dr. Larem. Larem.
Okay. And the Malkavian Primogen was Praxis?
Varaxin.
Oh, Varax. Thank you.
The Ventru Primogen was Cabraxis. You got told both of those at the same time, so probably confuse that with the word praxis as well. And, yeah, understandable. That's fair.
I'll wander over to where the Toreador was having a conversation.
Toreador Primogen. Seductive, slender figure, straight black hair. She seems in her mid-30s. Is currently sat in the booth with the Ventru Primogen. A average build, seemingly early 30s man with short blonde hair. As you approach, the well-dressed man and a stunning woman. She stands, giving a nod to the man. Slides past you, slipping a note in your hand as she passes, glides out of a small pub.
I'll watch her walk out, kind of like, what the hell was that? And then read the note.
The note is just simply an address near the train station that you may or may... Yeah, you probably know at some point that it is the closest train station to you. I always get it mixed up. It's Taikani Kodan. Please don't ask me to spell that.
Not even going to repeat it. Okay, so how far away would it be from...
You would need
Either...
a bus.
What's that?
You would need a bus.
Need a bus to get to it. Okay. I'll just slip the paper in my pocket. And the Ventru Primogen still there?
He is.
I will bow to him and ask him if he'd like company.
And he'll stand and return the bow, gesture to the seat in front of him. Checking in with your elders, I see. Good. Good.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm Daisy.
Cabraxis. Ventry Primogen. 10th generation.
Oh, that's nice.
Unlike my peers, I know you're here researching the blood disease. You believe it to be of Gaki design?
How do you know that?
The Gaki, though mysterious, are no scientists. They are unlikely to have engineered a blood-based disease. Though they're outcasts, however, they are a complete unknown to us. The Gaki don't talk of them. We only see the results of their machinations. But as I understand it, they wander alone, usually, and without support.
So, are you talking about the Akuma?
Ah, you know the term, yes.
Yeah, someone said it earlier tonight.
It is time the Camarilla expanded. Even if you are only here temporarily, hopefully the Prince will see the benefit of more kindred being here. Between you and I think she fears repercussions from the Gaki.
That sounds totally anti-chill, man.
The Gaki are... well, we should respect their ability. But unlike us, they have one foot in this world and one in the grave. I think if push came to shove, we could rule this country. But we'd need to make sure of what we are best at. Our connection and control over the mortals.
I don't know, man. They seem kind of scary.
Mortals?
No. The Gaki.
Perhaps. How many encounters have you had with them yourself?
Well, I don't think I've had any.
Exactly. Very few, if any, of our number have. How can we fear their reputation if it has not been tested?
Well, I'd rather not test them, man. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
I see. Anyway, Bruja, Gangrel, the Ministry, all anarchs. One or two exceptions. However, the anarchs themselves are something of a mystery to us in this area. Should you come across anything they are doing, I want to know. We cannot defend against a hidden enemy. We of all people would know. We need to find them, root them out, and deal with them overtly. I would appreciate you informing me of anything of theirs you find.
Yeah, maybe. But make peace, not war, man.
There can be
So
no
the rest of
peace.
us.
No, I don't believe so. But if you
Okay.
wanted to wander over, you could. We can make no peace with an enemy that wishes to see us as ash in the wind.
Like I said, scary, man.
I can see you're going to have fun here.
I'm still trying to find the fun. Do you know where it's at?
Do I look like someone that enjoys fun?
No, she walked out.
Oh, Sakura. Yes, an interesting one.
Okay, man. Well, you stay cool. And I'll get up from the table.
Reuniting with Marcelina, Solomon, and Elias.
Yeah.
Learn anything interesting?
Make any new friends.
Yeah, he doesn't seem all that friendly. Sounds like he wants to make war with everyone. Just wants to know if we find any anarchs around. I think he just wants to kill him. Wants to fight the Gaki. Sounds like an idiot.
It was the Ventru primogen, right? Sounds like a typical Ventru.
War is never the answer. Love and peace.
Exactly what I told him.
Well,
There is a time and place for everything.
indeed.
So, we've got a blood plague to worry about. A Ventru and who knows who else interested in starting a war with both the Gaki and possibly other anarchs.
Oh,
Bit
and
of
he
mess.
thinks that the Akuma are the ones that started the blood disease for some reason.
If the Akuma are to these people, or to these kindred, as whites are to us, I doubt that they have the know-how to be able to concoct a blood disease on the scale that we saw, or have seen.
Exactly, man.
Well, our kind driver earlier said that some of them can be pulled back from the brink. Mayhaps it's those that are of his concern, the ones that haven't fallen so far.
Now that piques my interest. I've never heard of a kindred coming back from turning into a white. I'm sorry, Elias. Please continue.
Well, these Gaki, they aren't kindred, so perhaps things are different for them than us. When one of our fellow kindreds lose themselves to the beast and become a white, they're feral, as you said, and they don't have any sort of higher function or compassion or way to think things through. But perhaps the Gaki are different. Perhaps when they become Akuma, or if they are created as Akuma, then they have not lost themselves, but rather are driven by passion.
Well, we certainly will have to look into that.
Yes.
So there is. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say I look forward to speaking to the premier of the area. If they are working outside of or out of a hospital, they might have the correct equipment. I might be able to at least borrow or acquire to do more research.
Has there been evidence of the blood plague afflicting folk round here? Any bodies left?
Was the conversation about the closing? Was that with Daisy and the Venture, or was that with us? Closing the. Someone said something about closing the ports and like letting people in.
I believe that was to the collective.
Yeah, that was with Shane earlier, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems they might have had a temporary recognition of the disease, but I do not know if it is still around or it maybe has gone into hiding. If it is a manufactured plague, then I imagine once it starts getting noticed, the people that created it will want to put it back under wraps so it doesn't get solved too quickly.
Right. ST, What do we know about the blood plague in terms of symptoms, whether it be in kind or in kindred?
Kine are symptomless. They are seen merely as transports or carriers for the virus. However, when a kindred feeds off an infected kine, a number of different things can happen. Either all at once or just one or two. They can begin to fade away to the withering or hear the beckoning, despite generational age. They can lose powers, or potence, to put it in mechanical terms. Those are the only symptoms. Oh yeah, and the other one was they lose their fangs. And they're unable to feed.
So other than loss of fang, there's no other physical sign?
Correct. And it's completely... Some infected kindred have all three things happen. Some only have one. Or any combination.
Right.
That is why I, for one, volunteered. Well, not only volunteered, but was pulled in for this expedition. For this to have such a profound effect on kindred, I feel like someone of my blood would be most apt to figure out what's going on. I might be able to figure out what is in the blood that is causing such drastic changes to us beings that are known for being unchangeable.
I'm interested in who would even think to do this to begin with. Definitely someone with bitterness towards our kind.
Would anyone like to talk to Varaxin?
Yes, I want to speak with the Avian Plymouth.
Anybody else joining him?
No, I'll sit back. And continue to watch.
Elias is a bit fascinating to me, so yeah, I'll go with him.
The pair approach the slim, brown-haired man who wears a long, plain black sweatshirt that seems slightly longer than it needs to be as it covers the palm of his hands. As the coterie approach, he turns his head to greet them, and it almost seems for a moment that he is mortal, as his brown eyes glisten through his shoulder-length brown hair. As he takes in the sight of the approaching strangers, he gestures for them to take a seat with him. Good evening, and welcome to Chiba.
I'll give a respectful bow and sit. Good evening, Primogen. Thank you for welcoming us. Chiba seems to be a lovely town. Or village.
Or prefecture.
Or prefecture.
You wait until you get to Chiba City in Chiba Prefecture, then you're going to be fucked. He reaches out a hand across the table. I am Varaxin, of Clan Malkavian. You already know Primogen.
I will shake his hand. I am Elias of Clan Malkavian.
Are you?
Do you want me to do a roll?
No, I just want to know what you're going to respond to with that first.
Whatever do you mean?
The question seems simple enough. Are you of Clan Malkavian?
I believe so.
He'll just stare at you. And who is your friend?
I am Solomon. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure is mine, and he'll extend his hand. Varaxin, Clan Malkavian.
I am of Clan Zemixi.
Are you?
I am.
Just stare at you for a moment. Do you ever get that deja vu feeling?
No, I can't say that I do.
Make no mistake. No matter what the others say, they're all here because of you. Fresh faces, blank slates. Expect to jump through some hoops. I couldn't help but overhear. You have been directed towards the Tremere, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Be careful. As useful as they are, they shouldn't be trusted outright. Be wary in your dealings with them. Not that you can trust others here. Apart from me. I will always tell you the truth. Unless I'm lying.
Well, in that case, do you happen to know where this blood plague has originated from?
I haven't seen the last page of the book yet.
What book do you mean?
Anyway, some information for you. The Camarilla enforce a blackout rule on technology in most places, as I understand it, due to this, be like grasping in the air.
The Inquisition?
Second Inquisition. You are Clan of the Moon. That isn't quite so true here. You may own modern electronic devices. The Harpy would tell you that. He doesn't understand them. Just be careful, though. Unlike the rest of the world, this country is ruled by near demons, and many other supernaturals roam the land. When another supernatural like you or I uses a computer, it can attract unwanted attention. Too many to be listed. Be on your guard. Though we are small in number, we have an extensive array of ghouls. Some of us more than others, like Sakura, Sakura, Sakura. Like the Toreador Primogen. She goes through mortals, just as most people go through socks. She gets easily bored, or perhaps just like mortals fawning over her, over and over. Anyway, should you need my services, let me know. I do all sorts. At the very least, I might be able to help direct you to someone.
Thank you, Vaxon. That is most kind of you, and it is indeed comforting to hear that while many of the others are not trustworthy, we can at least trust that you will be honest with us unless you're lying. That is comforting indeed.
If I may,
Yes, Solomon.
different country.
Wait, Solomon!
Yes.
Do you ever get that deja vu feeling?
I believe I'm starting to, yes. I'm beginning to think that maybe this question might be better directed at somebody else. I thank you for your time, though.
Ask the question.
Well, like you said, the Camarilla does not like excess use of modern technology. This being a different country, I have decided to keep to a more analog way of keeping track of things, no cellular devices, if you will. What is the best way to contact other kindred around the city if you do not use a telephone?
Go and talk to them.
Without traveling, though.
You want to be lazy?
As kindred do, yes.
Have you considered talking to rats? Or cats?
Again, thank you for your time.
Do you ever get that deja vu feeling?
All the time.
Sometimes for things that have not yet to pass.
You speak to me on a level only we could understand.
Indeed. Thank you for your time and your wisdom, permission. And I'll give another respectful bow.
Hello.
And I will get up.
Would you like to meet up with the rest of the coterie and head back to your temporary haven?
Yes, and while I'm walking with Solomon, I will suggest, Solomon, that late at night there's also bats to consider as well.
I have no way of communicating with animals. Once he gave me the answer, I humored him by not continuing to pester.
Oh, I'm quite sorry. I misunderstood. Yes, well, I can't speak with animals either. Perhaps someone can.
Potentially. You seem quite different, saying that you're Clan of the Moon, but I think the best way to interact with other Malkavians is to first figure out if they're even worth talking to in the first place. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not.
Well, everyone is special and important, and it's always worthwhile to make a connection and attempt to communicate and glean whatever information you can. Surely, sometimes it can be more difficult than others. However, it is always best to strive towards communication and the betterment of all.
Indeed, but when you're trying to get things done in a hurry, you cannot always sit and have conversations in riddles.
Yes, I know, sometimes you just have that voice and that passion that drives you to be better and to reach for a higher call. And that drives us to, even when we struggle against discussions that go nowhere, or the inability to glean information from a conversation, if we can hold on to what drives us, we can persevere.
Elias, remember the part where I said we don't always need to speak in riddles? This is one of those times.
My apologies, Solomon. I was just trying to speak clearly. I'll work on that.
Thank you. If not for me, just for efficiency's sake.
Marcelina, Daisy, while they're
Yes.
having their conversation with the Malkavian Primogen, is there anything that the two of you would have been talking about or doing?
I'm kind of imagining us sitting there in awkward silence.
Yeah, for a bit. I do have a question. When the Toreador had passed by Daisy, would I have seen the exchange in hands?
Your wits and awareness for me, please. Do you have a speciality in anything that might relate to this?
Yes, sight.
Oh, definitely add a +1 modifier then.
Okay. All right. Let's.
You would have definitely seen the Toreador Primogen trying her best to use sleight of hand to put this note card in Daisy's hand.
Daisy, darling. The Toreador. She passed you something?
Yeah, helpful. It's just the address to the closest train station. Wasn't that nice of her?
Nice if there was a purpose. Any idea maybe why she would have passed that to you?
Then we know where to find it.
Oh, but we could have asked anyone for that. It's clearly special. Because she only gave it to you.
She's
was that?
Toreador after all. Maybe she took a shining to me. She's Toreador after all.
That is true. Do you mind if I take a look at it really quick? Just so I can get a name.
I'll hand it over.
Would I know anything about such things, or maybe an importance?
Only what you would know of Toreador in general. She's Tell you what, roll intelligence and occult for me. Fuck it. Let's do that.
Okay. Alright. Sounds good to me. Alright.
So you're going to know that Toreador, some of them like to claim an air of mystique. They see it as attractive, part of their whole shtick, so to speak. And this could be that. It could be something as innocuous as Daisy says as well.
So many variables. I will sort of take a mental note on the name of this train station. And would it be kind of common knowledge as to how far it is from either here or our temporary haven?
Would you have done any kind? Yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give that to you for free, because I think at some point you will all learn this very easily, because it's no big secret that basically you've got a bus stop right round the corner from you that terminates at that train station, and it's a 15-20 minute bus ride.
Okay. All right. If you end up going to this train station at any point, don't go alone. It's never good to go alone.
Oh, I hear that so often. I wander. It's what I do. Train stations are very useful to me. She probably just knew what I was and passed along the information. It's very nice.
You know, I find it so sweet and delightful how trusting you are. But we're foreign here. We're not necessarily friends to those around us here. Gotta watch your back.
That you have to embrace the love in everyone's heart.
I will take your word for it. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. Just keep an eye out, yeah?
Yeah, whatever.
And as you're...
The Ventru.
Sorry.
sorry.
No, I thought you
The
finished.
venture. He wanted you to keep an eye out on the anarchs. Few as they
Yeah,
are.
around. Want to start a war. That's just not cool, dude.
No, given the nature of this place, I don't think that's very cool at all. Uh, it's strange to me that he so openly said such a thing. Venture, as ambitious as they are, I think would be a little bit more careful about giving out information like that. Showing his hand. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I have a very trusting face.
That could be it. That might just be it. Right. Well, I think we've outstayed our welcome here, and the sun is rising soon. Should probably make ourselves scarce.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Waste of a night.
Soon as I find out where you can find some of the good stuff, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Would you, man? Be great.
Part of what I do. Part of what I do. Uh, shouldn't be too hard. I'll find it and I'll let you know.
Fucking awesome.
And everyone ready to go back to their temporary haven, with the possible obvious exception.
Yeah, just real quick, whilst there, would I have gotten sort of the general vibe of how people are receiving our presence?
Wits awareness, please. This is going to be fairly difficult. And you can't
Okay,
apply your
and with the-
specialization for this.
I can't. Okay.
Because this is reading kindred's emotions, rather than something you're basing purely on sight.
Okay. So you said wits and awareness, right?
Yes, please. With that, you can pick up that there is a heavy atmosphere. Whether it's because they're excited of new faces, excited to meet you, or perhaps they have their own agenda you're unable to tell. But there is... Your presence has caused something of a stir, be it a positive or a negative one.
Okay. Right. So when we meet up again as a group, I'll look to the other two and say, interesting conversation?
To say the least.
Anything worthwhile?
Not that I can say no, unless, Elias, you found something gleaming out of whatever your clan mates were saying.
Yeah, yes. It was quite a fruitful conversation. It was a very good conversation to have indeed. We did learn, unsurprisingly, that many of the kindred cannot be trusted. However, Vaxon did assure us that he will always speak the truth unless he's lying, which is something that we
As
can do.
Malkavians do. As they do.
And I feel like he told us something else too, but I now have trouble.
He did.
Only you were told to take notes before we start. Oh, wait.
Hey, it's a good thing I was there and I remember everything.
I was taking notes. I just missed it.
I know what was said. I'm just RP wise, so waiting for it to be said.
I would like to share that. I'm missing a note.
Something about a page in a book, if I do recall.
Yes.
I was even enraptured by the way he said that, and I don't remember the exact verbiage he used.
Mm.
I haven't seen
Yes,
the last
perhaps
page of the book.
That's what it was.
Perhaps,
Mm.
yes, perhaps we can help him find this last page. Find the.
Right, so definitely gonna need to have another conversation with him. I suppose we'll find him here. Or did you guys manage to find another way in which you can communicate?
I tried, but he suggested I speak to animals, which I could not do.
Oh,
I'm
isn't that
sorry.
something our friend here can do?
Daisy, you can speak to animals?
Yeah. Do it all the time.
But
Animals are our friends.
indeed.
I do have I do have a way with animals myself, so that shouldn't be too difficult for us to do. Mayhaps that's how we will communicate with our moon friend over here.
Yes, I recall Vax, and he suggested that we try to communicate with rats and cats, I believe.
Well, definitely something to do then. The mention of a book is interesting. It does make me think of, oh, what was that Tremere's name? Dr. Laram. I'm sure he's got his head in plenty of books.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
quite excited to speak with them.
Last I
Perhaps
checked,
it'll be...
No.
Rats can't what?
read.
No, rats cannot. No, rats cannot. But they will serve as a good telephone.
I feel like with the correct scientific equipment and the right way of going about it, you could teach a rat to feign reading.
Maybe see through their eyes. Perhaps that was a way. Although Malkavian are hard to pin down, maybe he just had a vision of some sort.
He did say something about, or he didn't even say anything. He did seem to grasp answers to questions out of the air. I do know that the Malkavian network is a type of thing that maybe our friends here might be able to explain better than I, but could be something along those lines.
Was he grabbing a bug? There's been a lot of bugs around here. Maybe he can talk to those.
Bugs are disgusting, but they do serve their purpose. Right, well, a lot to do. A lot to do. So, first thing in the morning, we go to this, in the evening, Dr. Loran. Have a chat with him.
Sounds
That's-
like a plan to me.
Yes, that sounds like a good course of action that we can take.
Right then, y'all have a good rest. I'll see y'all bright and early. Does that apply? That does not apply to us. You would think I've gotten used to it after all these years. I have not.
Dim and early is semantics, really.
Just after dusk, perhaps?
Just after.
Take y'all out at sundown.
See you then, darling. And with that, Marcelina will head to her space.
Daisy, could you do
I'm catching a
wits-
bus.
Yeah. Wit survival roll for me, please.
With survival. I'm re-rolling. What the hell? It's the last roll of the night.
Hey.
Daisy will just barely be able to find somewhere safe and secure for the night. However, it is for the day, sorry. However, it is not the best of places. Many people end up walking to and fro and ignoring her, mistaking her for someone of a transient nature. Not entirely inaccurate, I suppose.
Used to that.
Um,
My sunglasses over my eyes.
with that, we shall bring our first episode of Nihon Nights to a close. Next week, we have another episode of Nihon Nights, I believe. Let me double check schedule. We will, if we're going to do that, it'll have to be on this day, next week, because...
Friday?
Yep. Is this Friday for you? No, this is Thursday for you right now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, yeah.
So next Thursday, we'll have episode 2 of Nihon Nights. And then the day after that, we'll have the Oxford by Night finale. And a week after that, we'll move Nihon Nights to Fridays.
Sounds good.
So, Elias, who are you? What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
I am Naskavian. I play Elias. I just play tabletop on Table of Horrors every week.
Nitro. Fucked it up there, didn't I? Solomon. Grundy. Born on a Monday. Who are you? What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
I am Nitro Typet. You can find me practically everywhere at that handle. Other than that, I'm here and I do stuff with Table of Horrors. I'm a bit behind, but we reached 400 followers on Twitch, so we have begun and to figure out the Discord side of the play-by-post stuff, and then hopefully send the invites out soon. So more followers the better, so keep sending your friends our way. But if you want to potentially partake in that, go join the Discord and stay up to date on that.
I'll get the.
We'll have an announcement.
Yeah, I'll get the setting overview written at some point in between slashing my wrists. Daisy, who are you? What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
I am Ms. Hearts. You can find me just about anywhere as Ms. Hearts. I've been streaming lately. I've been on a Minecraft kick. So I've been doing some streaming, but you will have to follow my Twitter or follow my channel or join my Discord to know when I'm on, because I don't have a regular schedule. Or join the Table Horrors Discord, because it gets posted there too when I go. I am also going to be in Bat City Bombshell's burlesque show, Anti-Valentine's Day show, on February 12th at Come and Take It Live here in Austin. So if you're interested in that, you can find that in my links for tickets, because tickets are probably going to sell out. And then, also on February 12th, I will be belly dancing at Brewhaus at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. That'll be an outdoor show and 80s themed. And then on February 19th, I will be dancing at Carousel Caravan at Carousel again here in Austin for Jeanette's birthday. And if you need any graphic design or promotional products, go to gibopromo.com.
Last but not least, Marcelina, who are you? What do you do? Do you do things? Nitro, I hope you've got the links ready.
Hello. Hi, guys. Right, so you can find me pretty much anywhere on social media as the Risa Rave. Twitter is where I am most active and pretty much where I post all things that I am a part of. I do also stream on Twitch by the same name. There is a link in my bio that you can click and pretty much get everything of where I'm at. I do things now on Table of Horrors, so you'll see me here weekly. But also keep a lookout. There are some other projects that are coming out soon, and there will be announcements and such on my Twitter to let y'all know about that.
Am I right in thinking this is not the only vampire game you play?
This is, at this very instant, in this very moment, this is the only vampire game I'm playing in, but that will soon change. So, for right now, I'm just with the Table of Horrors.
if we wanted to see you play VTM before and not on this, where would that be?
If you wanted to see me in some other things that I've done before, you can go onto Dark Druid Productions on YouTube, minus the A in Dark, and you would see me in Prince William by Night.
Not the way to do it. Check out the links down below. We have a merch store. I've just recently updated the merch store. Things are a little bit cheaper in there. There's some new stuff to have a look at. If you want to say you're an officer in the DIY BJ department, we got you covered. Well, I'm really proud of that.
Well done.
Oh, that reminds me, there is a game. God, that did jog my memory. I am in a game. I want to say tomorrow. No, it's not tomorrow. It's Saturday.
Yeah.
In your Western time zones, over at the RPG table. That's twitch.tv/the RPG table for part 2 of a 2-shot that Comic Book Joker has been kind enough to run for us. That was the origin of DIY BJ.
Okay, so which shirt has DIY BJ on it?
Pardon?
Which shirt?
Which shirt?
The department shirt. Look on the back.
Haha.
We'll go raiding on Chaotic Narrative RPG, who are playing Vampire the Masquerade, but we are not legally allowed to go until Noscavian says the line.
Have a good night.